Do you know who you really are? Welcome to another episode of Breadcrumbs from the Soul, a radio station dedicated to finding those hidden miracles in life's everyday circumstance. In this episode, we're going to get to the heart of who we really are. And most importantly, we're going to talk about how to heal that pain that's just deep inside. At the end of this episode, I will be providing you 3 steps to help you on your path to healing and to awakening to the truth about who you are. Let's for a second imagine a world where for every ache and every pain and every bit of suffering, there is enough love to heal it all. Let's just imagine what that would look like. And now I'm going to share with you groundbreaking truth. You are so powerful that within you lies the power to transform the universe, to transform the world that we live in from one of pain, suffering, heartache, loss, and limitation to one of absolute love, abundance, peace, and joy. This is your true birthright. Once you have that image in your head of this wonderful world filled with enough love to heal all ailments, I'm going to share with you the wonderful news, which is that that world really exists right now. That's the big news. We just don't see it. You know, when the clouds are covering you in a storm, dark clouds, if you get into a plane and you go above those clouds, the sun is still there, shining just as bright as it always has. You just don't see it. Your limited viewpoint is that of darkness, cold, stormy. But in truth, the sun never stops shining, even at nighttime. It's the earth that's moved around, moves away from the sun. The sun doesn't go anywhere. It's always there shining right where it is. That is the reality in which we live in. That love, that abundant love with the power to heal all exists right now. We can't see it. We are so stuck underneath those clouds of our own pain that we can't see that we are surrounded in love right now. That world exists right now, and all we have to do is choose it. But how can you choose it when you're wallowing in the pain, when you're bumping around in the darkness? How does that work? Hopefully, the 3 steps that I share with you in just a little bit will help you in that process. The only way we can get to that place of realization and acceptance of the love that's already here for us is for us to push those dark clouds out of the way. And the only way that we can do that is by making ourselves, and more accurately, our healing, our top priority. The healing of the world begins inside of us, each one of us. To begin, I'm going to take you back a little ways. So each of us began in these little bodies. We were little babies, open and willing to the world, trusting, loving. What happened, though, is we absorbed like a sponge the pain, the fear, and the thoughts and the thought process of all that have come before us. whatever limitations of their viewpoint were passed down to us, and we learned that, we absorbed that into our systems. It conditioned us to see ourselves as limited human beings. Our physical eyes showed us, our senses showed us, our physical senses showed us an experience, and as a result of that experience, and each one of us has had a totally unique experience. Many of them have been similar paths, but each absolutely and totally unique. And that experience has taught us, has conditioned us in this world, in this physical world that we live in. Our truth is we are far more than what we believe right now we are. Our conditioning was nobody's fault. It wasn't your parents' fault, and it wasn't your fault, and it wasn't those that conditioned you. All of us are only as good as our level of awareness. And if we're aware, then we're able to move into gracefully advancing ourselves and able to experience that which we are fully capable of. Now is our opportunity to do what we intended to do when we came into this physical form. To love, to extend love, to heal, to share our light with the universe. We can still do that. Step 1, look into the mirror and say to yourself, as you look yourself in the eyes, I am a being of unlimited light and love. I have within me the power to transform this universe by spreading the light and love within. I possess within me the power to transform the universe from dark into light by spreading the love that I am. Step 2, pay attention to what you feel and think as you say this to yourself in the mirror. This is a very important step because this begins to help you in your awareness, in your awakening, to understand what areas you need to heal. Listen to what comes up inside of you. Understanding the difference between the language of your heart and the language of your head. And this is very important to our healing process. So what we have to do is learn trust. Trust of our intuition. That part of you which feels is the unobstructed connection that you have that can never be taken away directly to source, directly to your loving source. And that part of you has all of the answers. And I'm sure you've had times in your life when you were like, oh, I knew better. I had a sense. I had a knowing. But here comes the language of the mind. The mind gets in the way. And it starts playing all this training that we've had, all this conditioning that we had. Well, you know, my mother told me that I should always, or, you know, I dated somebody before and then they did this. And so then therefore all other people are going to do the same thing. So if I'm going to be smart, then I'm not going to go with what my heart is telling me. I'm not going to follow my intuition. I'm going to do what my brain says I should do based on past experience. And I'm not saying that past experience has to be completely and utterly thrown out the window. It's okay to learn in this world. But what we want to do is we want to get really good at taking all of the thoughts that we're having, all that chatter up here in the mind and bringing it into our heart for guidance. So we need to be able to understand the two languages. And so as you take step one and you look in the mirror and you say those things and you talk about yourself being an unlimited being of light and love, what do you really think? There's a part of you that probably feels that deep sense of, wow, that sounds right. I believe that. I feel that deeply, that there is a yearning inside of me, that there is something, I am part of something much bigger. I can feel it. That sounds right. And then that's the language of your heart. And then there's that language of your mind. And that's the one that's saying, are you nuts? First of all, let's get this straight. You're uneducated. You don't have enough money. Who do you think you are? And that part of you goes down a whole list. In step 2, you want to be alert to what that list is. Those areas, those items that come up for you, those negative thoughts, those are the things that you've been conditioned to believe about yourself that we need to heal. And it's very important to understand that these things that we feel very deeply, we don't want to pretend they're not there. We don't want to go into some place of denial and tell yourself, it doesn't matter. No, I'm a being of light. I should know that. I should feel that. So anything else, if I'm going to pretend it's not there, that doesn't work. In order to heal, we have to bring the darkness to the light. We have to be willing to stand naked before ourselves and let go of these horrible things that we keep inside of us, these painful things that we've learned over time. And to do that, we have to first come to terms and understand and see it. We have to see it for what it is. We have to see, wow, when I look in the mirror and say something like, I'm the light of the world, these are the top 5 things that come to my mind. And that's very negative, so I'm going to work on that. Step 3. Repeat after me. I am worthy of every wonderful thing that I can possibly imagine. If I can imagine a thing, I am fully capable of manifesting that into reality. I was created by a loving source within which nothing is impossible. And I have never been separated from this source, nor will I ever be. I have a direct link, my higher self, which is able to, at my will, guide me what I believe I experience, and I am willing now to heal all of the hidden pain. And I trust that my higher self knows exactly how to transmute that pain into a win-win situation for all. I hope that you find these steps helpful. I recommend that you listen to the Healing Your Inner Child meditation that I have a link to, 15-minute meditation. It is phenomenal. I look forward to having you visit again for our next episode of Breadcrumbs from the Soul next Wednesday at 7 Pacific time. And until then, I hope that you have a blessed week.